Hello, welcome to today's immigration tidbit. Are you married to a U.S. citizen and you find when you applied for adjustment of status it was denied because 10 years ago you had a marriage fraud adjudication? That you were ruled to have committed marriage fraud? Well, here's the law. If you have been adjudicated to have committed marriage fraud, then you are not entitled to immigration benefits the rest of your life. It doesn't mean that, the 5 or 10 years that you've developed this relationship with your current spouse and the 1,000 love letters you have and the 13 kids can prove it's a bona fide marriage. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a prior adjudication of marriage fraud. So, what we are talking about here is what can you do about that? Is that the end of the road, or is there something you can do? And yes, over the years I've been able to get this reversed or do various things to allow the person to go forward. First, I need to confirm, and this is done through a FOIA, whether or not marriage fraud was actually ruled upon. Was the case just denied? Or was there a specific ruling that there was marriage fraud? Was there a specific ruling that you committed marriage fraud, or was it your spouse? Was the case withdrawn before there was a ruling? So, I review the file in order to determine at the first instance if there was actually a ruling of marriage fraud and if it falls under the section that basically says no further immigration benefits. Then next, assuming that there was such a ruling, I want to see on what basis the judge ruled that there was marriage fraud. And most likely it would have to have been a judge, not just a USCIS officer, okay? Or even back in the day, not just an INS officer, but a judge. And so I want to see on what basis. So then I go in and I question, how long did they know each other? What did they do? What evidence did they have that showed marriage fraud? And I need to see if there's a real basis that the ruling was viable. If not, then I make a motion to reopen to get back into the prior proceedings to show that there was an abuse of discretion or that all the evidence wasn't presented in order to show that, in fact, there was no marriage fraud. Or I file the adjustment with the current case and include reasons why marriage fraud did not exist in the prior case. So there are several avenues that you can take in case this happens.